The Legend of the White Snake, one of China's four great mythical tales. It tells the story of a white snake spirit who cultivates for centuries, finally transforming into a woman who yearns for human love. After marrying her beloved, she must choose between her immortality and devotion to him or eternal life alone. Will she pick love or power? Let's find out. In Chinese folklore, all beings can transform. Stones to plants, animals to humans, and even humans to gods. All that is needed are spiritual energy and cultivation. A white snake spirit has spent hundreds of years cultivating to reach the level of a celestial being. One day she encounters a holy monk who helps her cultivate her final ascension, transforming her into a beautiful woman. She is now known as Lady White. However, the price of her transformation is that she loses all memory of her previous life, including her former status as a snake spirit. As Lady White emerges from the mountains, she comes across a breathtakingly beautiful lake, where she meets an old woman who lives by the lake. This is actually Lady White's own maid in her previous life, who has also cultivated herself into a human form and is waiting for Lady White to join her. After reuniting, the two head to the nearby city of Hangzhou, where they meet Xian, a young man who works in his family's herbal medicine shop. At first, Lady White is attracted to Xian because he looks like a famous celebrity she used to know, and after saving him from a runaway cart, the two become engaged. However, Xian's younger sister Xian is not convinced. She believes Lady White is a monster, and that's why her face never appears in paintings or photographs. So she tries to scare Lady White away, but fails. She then resorts to telling Lady White that Xian is already engaged to someone else. Although devastated, Lady White does not give up. She visits the fortune teller who told her parents that she would be marrying a mortal. Realizing that her destiny was set, Lady White returns to Xian, and through a series of tricks, she convinces him to marry her. After their marriage, Lady White and her maid open a herbal medicine shop with Xian and his brother, and they live happily. Their happiness increases when Lady White becomes pregnant. Meanwhile, the monk Fahai, who had helped Lady White ascend to godhood, learns that she has broken the law by forgetting her vows of celibacy. He then goes down to the mortal realm to seek out Xian and warn him about his demon wife. When Fahai reveals his supernatural powers, Xian is shocked and faints. When he regains consciousness, Fahai tells him that he can save him from his wife's evil clutches during the upcoming Dragon Boat Festival, a time when demons and spirits are most active. To do this, Xian must give her 3 cups of realgar wine, a potent hallucinogen. Fahai leaves behind 3 jars of the wine and departs, but not before threatening Xian with dire consequences if he refuses to carry out his task. Once Fahai is gone, Lady White prepares the realgar wine and gives it to Xian, who immediately begins to feel its effects. She changes into her true form, a huge white snake with many tails. Horrified by what he sees, Xian faints. Lady White is so distraught by the revelation of her true form that she jumps into the lake and would have drowned had it not been for her maid, who drags her back to safety. Although deeply disappointed, Lady White knows she must do something to save her husband. She goes to the Jade Emperor, the highest deity in heaven, and begs him for a chance to redeem herself. Learning of Lady White's devotion, the Jade Emperor grants her a wish. He presents her with a small plant called a miracle mushroom, which will revive anyone who consumes it. Lady White immediately returns home, brews a concoction containing the fungus, and feeds it to Xian. Miraculously, he awakens. When Xian recovers, Lady White confesses everything to him, but asks him to keep it a secret from Fahai. Realizing how much she loves her husband, Xian promises to protect her. However, Fahai discovers what has happened and arrives with a large group of disciples to capture Lady White. This time, Xian stands by his wife and refuses to let her go without a fight. but just as he is about to engage Fahai, he is struck by an arrow and collapses. Although mortally wounded, he manages to tell Lady White to escape before he dies. Now that her husband is dead, Lady White has nothing left to keep her in the mortal world. As she is about to ascend to heaven, her maid stops her and announces that she will stay behind to avenge Xian's death. She reveals that she has been cultivating for over 800 years and is very powerful. Lady White is grateful for her friend's loyalty and tells her to take care of herself. Then she ascends to heaven. Lady White has now become the goddess of mercy. When Fahai heard this, he became angry and tried to stop her from ascending, but failed. Soon, her maid is confronted by Fahai and his disciples. Although outnumbered, she is not afraid. With a flick of her wrist, she creates a wall of water that traps them all. When Fahai breaks free, she transforms into a giant snake and coils around the temple. But Fahai uses his staff to attack her, causing her to faint. He then takes advantage of her unconscious state and ties her up with a rope made of Buddhist scriptures. Meanwhile, Xian is reincarnated as the son of a wealthy family. After learning of his previous life, he becomes determined to be reunited with Lady White. Unfortunately, Fahai discovers Xian and takes him to Gold Mountain Temple to raise him as a Buddhist monk. Xian is initially saddened by this turn of events, but soon finds joy in his new life. He eventually becomes a highly respected monk who performs miracles. One day, Xian dreams of his past life and awakens with a start. From that moment on, he feels an overwhelming desire to find his former wife. Disregarding his vow of celibacy, he sneaks out of the temple to search for her. Unknown to Xian, Lady White has been searching for him as well. When they finally meet again, they are overjoyed. They embrace and swear eternal devotion to each other. Lady White apologizes for her past behavior and vows to be more faithful in the future. Xian assures her that he will always love her no matter what. Soon after, Lady White becomes pregnant and gives birth to a baby boy. Although they are happy, they know that Fahai will try to separate them once again, so they decide to flee to Japan. Just as they are about to board the boat, however, Fahai appears and arrests Lady White under Thunder Peak Pagoda. He then disappears, leaving Xian to care for their son. Years pass and Xian grows old. One day, his son tells him that he wants to visit the nearby West Lake. Xian agrees, and they set off together. At the lake, his son accidentally breaks a coin, and while looking for it, he discovers a hole in the ground. Suddenly, Lady White emerges from it and reunites with her son. Overjoyed, they embrace tightly, and for a moment, it seems as though their reunion will last forever. But Fahai suddenly reappears and captures Lady White again, taking her back to Thunder Peak Pagoda. Xian is heartbroken, but there is nothing he can do. His son comforts him, saying that he is sure Lady White will be back. But deep down, he too feels that this may be their final goodbye. Many years later, Lady White's sister has grown to immense power. She has become the Queen Mother of the West, the supreme ruler of heaven. One day, she learns that her sister has been imprisoned and becomes furious. She descends to earth and confronts Fahai, demanding that he release her sister. Fahai refuses, and the two engage in a fierce battle. In the end, the Queen Mother of the West is victorious. She destroys the Thunder Peak Pagoda and frees Lady White. The sisters are overjoyed to be reunited, and Lady White immediately rushes to Xian, but when she gets there, she finds that he has passed away. Now that her beloved has died again, Lady White has no reason to remain in the mortal world. She bids farewell to her son and returns to heaven with her sister. Some say that after achieving immortality, Lady White lived happily ever after with her sister. Others say that she returned to the mountains where she spent her final years as a recluse. There are also legends that she and her maid, who took on a human form after freeing her, walked beside West Lake every day. And that's the end of today's episode. What do you think will happen next? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos. See you next time.